you come out of this, I feel like he'd be back to where. So I believe he's doing a great shit. I feel like this is playing right again. So he's going. I feel like what Will was saying when she talked to the team manager in the track, and I feel that's what was. I just feel I feel right now like during the week. So.
What's up, guys? Hey, how we doing? So I know some of you guys don't like the RC videos. Some of you guys love them. So if you don't like the RC videos, just turn it off. Don't watch it. Don't tell me why I shouldn't do this. I'm going to tell you why I should do this. Ricky Carmichael is in the most important position in this sport. If you want to grow this sport, you need someone to present it to new fans, to the public, in a way that they can understand and grasp. He is coasting off of his resume, and I will make no bones about it. He has the best resume of any racer to ever compete in this sport, but he sucks at talking. He's not confident. He's so worried about hurting everyone's feelings, and he's just not a good announcer. I don't know what else to say, guys. He's really bad. The only reason he has his job is because he's really good at sucking ass and using his resume. There's a guy at NBC. I talked to a lot of people on the broadcast crew. Trust me, they all know what a garbage analyst Ricky is, and they tell me, yes, they're staying anonymous. They don't want to lose their jobs because this guy on the top, they're all like, I have no idea why Jeff Banke has this love affair with Ricky. This is an NBC producer that just has this, he's one of those guys, I've been there, done that, and he's just going to do it his way. And he's got this formula where he wants the best athlete to be the analyst. And I don't know if he watches the show, but this Banke guy, I cannot believe he lets this go. And trust me, the people that work for him, they all share the same sentiment. They all think he's just as dumb as I just mentioned, and they don't understand why he can't see what everybody else on that broadcast can see, how bad Ricky is at the job. I get a lot of complaints about Will, but remember this about Will. She is just coming in quick spots. She's not the voice of the sport. She's not the one in the forefront. I'm okay with Will. I know a lot of you guys don't like her, but I think she's all right. What bothers me is every single time she does a segment, Ricky feels, I don't know if it's chauvinistic or wanting to show his knowledge, but he comes in and he's got to add to it or one-up her, however he does. He stopped doing it to JT after Glendale.
Just kind of expanding on what Will was talking about, and I hate it.
Guessing he saw my video. Also, good on him for I haven't heard the Jolly Rancher in his mouth since Glendale, so thank you for that. That's an improvement. I appreciate that.
You need people like me so you can point your fucking fingers and say, that's the bad guy.
Real quick, guys, I want to remind you of the sponsors. We've got Coach Rob. He's got the podcast over there where he's talking about navigating amateur racing. We've got Epic Garage Designs at epicgaragedesigns.com. Coolest stuff for your garage. Ride Strapped with the cool shirts and goggles and you name it. Precision Transport, a shipping company that has customer service. So check them out at pretransport.com. All right, guys, let's get into this.
This track too, you see these inside ruts, it's going to be ruts are in there. They're going, also look how ruddy the landings are. We talked about on the track, remember we talked about the ruts. Into Cooper, remember what we talked about, you're going to have to get, remember I talked about how hard it is to make.
Ricky was obsessed with the ruts, and yes, the ruts mattered. But just so you know, Ricky, and I've heard him do this multiple times, when there's multiple ruts, it's not ruddy, it's rutted. When he's talking and he says, remember what we talked about? It's like, if you have to remind me, like, what is this, a quiz? It reminds me of like being in school when your teacher's like trying to teach you something and they go, remember? I'm like, come on, man. I just don't like that. It just comes off, I just don't like it.
I feel like maybe not here to, so when you come out of this, I feel like he'd be back to where, so I believe he's doing a great shit. I feel like this is playing right again. So he's going, I feel like what Will was saying when she talked to the team manager in the track, and I feel that's what was, I just feel, I feel right now like during the week, so not surprising.
He will never commit to a statement. He's not confident in his opinion or his knowledge. That's what someone does when they say, I feel, I believe. He's the winningest rider of all time. He's in that chair because he's supposed to know these things. So you don't have to say, I feel, I believe. Just say it. We know you feel it. We know you believe it. Stop leaving yourself this passive out. That's what insecure people do when they're trying to present something. They're not confident in their opinion. Just be confident in the opinion. That's what we want from the announcer. We want someone that we, as people watching, that we know you know what you're talking about. When you say, I feel and I believe, well, now I don't.
Definitely out of pocket for...
My daughter, sometimes she's 15, uses the term out of pocket. I was joking and I used it and she freaked out. Old people can't use out of pocket. It's a TikTok phrase. Clearly, Ricky spent some time on TikTok and things are out of pocket.
Yeah, I mean, you got first, let's see here, you got first, second, fourth, and fifth, and point. And understand how hard they work from everything that I have been told. And
so he's trying to figure out stuff on the fly. That's what we do when we're watching. We're not the professional in the booth. I promise you, on that production staff, they have people that could get him a list of bullet points and stats on every rider that he could just sit in front of him. I know for a fact, I've talked to the production crew, he doesn't use any notes. He shoots from the hip. Every UFC announcer, Tony, all these guys use notes. They use what's available to them. They're not arrogant enough to think they know everything. That's the problem. He thinks he knows everything, and it's obvious he doesn't know very much. Yes, he's a great racer, but he honestly doesn't know that much about this sport. He barely knows the LCQ guys. Like, come on, man. You don't have to know them, but you have the information. Get yourself a cheat sheet, Ricky.
For tonight in Birmingham, Eli Tomac, he's the second winningest rider in Supercross history. And I think tonight he's going to get the win here tonight and just throw a twist into this championship points battle and keep the pressure on Jet Lawrence.
Did I just hear a rare prediction out of Ricky Carmichael? I like this. I like it.
Soft prediction.
Okay.
I will give him some credit. He actually made a prediction. He said something solid, but then he catches himself after he says that Eli Tomac will win the main event and goes, well, it's a soft prediction, trying to back out of it because he's such a, man, pick a side, go with an opinion. And you know what? If you're wrong, you're wrong. That's okay. We know it's your opinion. We know it's a prediction. It's okay to say things like that. If you think that's actually going to happen, do it. Nobody will be mad if you're wrong. You come back and say, well, had that wrong. No big deal. No harm, no foul. But when you just try and paint the fences and play both sides, it's just disgusting.
Start Kenny, I love it. Yeah, I love it.
Sometimes you don't have to say anything at all. Let Weege fill in the gap. That's his job. He's really good at it. Don't just yell, love it, oh, like what I'm seeing, love it, make it laps. Like, he's constantly throwing stuff in there when he doesn't need to. That is a bad analyst. Let Wygant fill in. If there's ever dead air, Wygant is a professional. And man, he is doing a masterful job with Ricky because Ricky's constantly stepping on him and going over. And oh my gosh, it's really bad.
I'm watching timing and scoring for you guys at home tuning in today on Peacock on the outside. And everyone at home, that is incredibly hard to do.
Why is he talking about those of us tuning in at home on Peacock? Like, it's so unnatural the way he says it. Like I said, let Weege do that. You don't need to do that. That is the play-by-play. That's Weege's job to talk to the people at home. That's Weege's job to do that stuff. Ricky's the analyst. He doesn't understand the roles, and he clearly hasn't put in the time to figure them out.
8.0. That's pretty respectable lap time with how much the track has gone on that last lap. So, going into the main, just to give everyone something to keep your eye on. It's a respectable time.
And he said, I'll give you something to keep your eye on. It's a respectable time. Well, guess what? Everybody that rode that track had a respectable time. They're professionals. They're all respectable.
I know this because I've been in situations like this. I go back to the days of James Stewart when I was racing him. He had so much.
So he gives his opinion, and then he says, I know this because... And then he, tells you why he knows this. Guess what, Ricky? You're the analyst. You're in the chair. You have a resume better than anyone else on earth. We know why you know this. Don't reiterate it. That's a sign of insecurity. Have some confidence. Say something with Like Kevin Hart says, say it with your chest. Come on, man.
Say it with your chest. Look.
Yet again.
Well, I think a bit tight. This is totally speculation, but that.
I laugh when he says, that's total speculation. Well, yeah, we know you're not inside the helmet communicating with the rider. We know it's speculation. You're the expert who's supposed to, you're hired to speculate. So we know it's speculation. God. And this guy milks the sport for every damn dime. And that's why he's in that position, because this sport has given him his life. Honestly, look at Ricky and who he is as a person. Take away his resume. Who is he as a person? Do you think that guy's gonna be very successful in life? Because I don't. This sport has given him so much. He should be thankful. He should be giving back to this sport. He should be taking it serious with his job. This sport owes him nothing. It's given him his entire life. And we don't owe Ricky anything. Because guess what? He's been paid handsomely for his work. And he's treated very, very well. So when it comes to he owes us the respect to put in the effort. If you want that seat, you don't have to have that seat. There's plenty of qualified people that will be in that position to present this sport in a professional manner. You don't need to be in there. If you don't want to be in there, just move out. Like you don't have to.
Really difficult. We talked about it on our podcast, Title 24 this week.
I mean, he uses it to plug his own podcast. How egotistical is that?
In this day and age where these riders are just so good at just maintaining a 3, 4 to 5 second gap, they're okay with that lead. Rather, like in the older days, these guys would just go ride as hard as they could and try to build a...
His ego must be monstrous. The fact that he says all this and can't give Jet credit for being... Jet's the one that's doing it. Jet's the one that might break his records. Jet's the one that went undefeated. This is not this generation of riders. Jet's the only one who can manage leads like this. It's not this generation. It's one rider. It's Jet Lawrence. Maybe everyone will try and learn it, but he's the only one who's ever been able to manage a 3 to 4 second lead like this. No one else can. He always repeats what Weege says. It's really annoying. You know, Weege will say it and then Carmichael will repeat it twice. And so what he's doing, and when Carmichael explains things, that is called, that's repetition compulsion. What that is the first time he said it, he wasn't sure. So he has to say it again to assure himself. He's not telling us, we heard it the first time, but he's telling himself because he's unprepared. He doesn't have the information. He's shooting from the hip. That's the problem. Lack of effort.
Cooper Webb doesn't want to hear this, RC. He doesn't want to hear 2 in a row.
He might
He is
not want to hear
still
it.
digging. Still digging.
He might not want to hear first 7 laps is where I think he needs to improve. If he can work on that in the next several weeks, it's going to be fun to watch.
And he is still within range, Cooper
you
Webb.
go.
13 points.
When Ricky's giving his analysis on, Cooper Webb, and then they cut to the points, when they turn the music up, that's his cue to shut up and let Wygant take over. That's Wygant's piece right there. And he just steps all over it. And then when Wygant's going through it, he yells something. Oh, just bad at his job. I'm not trying to pick on Ricky as a person, even though you guys know how I feel about him as a person. I'm strictly trying to break down in this video his broadcasting capabilities. They're awful. They're horrible. You can see he does not prepare. If he prepared, took notes, you know what? If Ricky got home, replayed the race, turn on his recorder, call the race multiple times, practice. Because when you do it once a week, all he's doing is he's creating these weird things and he's trying to fix them on the fly. Fix them at home and then bring a polished broadcast to the TV. Like I said, it's not easy, but that's why you have to work so hard at it. I know guys who do this. They tell me how hard it is and how I know how hard they work at it. So yeah, we need someone better. And there's guys that are available. You know who I'm talking about. Grant Langston, Daniel Blair, David Pingree. Come on, there's lots of guys that can do this job and will have no problem putting in the effort and not just milk it for what it is, just so they can be the center of attention. All right, guys, thanks, and I'll catch you later.